All right, so hello everyone. Welcome to Vestralex free online community classes, legal literacy initiative. Um, and it's a wonderful pleasure and a privilege to be at this platform and learning from some of the best legal minds in the country. Today we have with us Mr. Rameshwar Singh Jamwal, sir. He is former Deputy Advocate General of the and also Senior Counsel, Government of India for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. He has been a science student and he is a law graduate from the Jammu and Kashmir University. He has also done his diploma course in criminology and police sciences. He has a very wide experience of working and researching and studying with respect to the United Nations and the international understandings with respect to that. Sir is also an avowed yoga practitioner, and he has been so for more than 30 years. And he is also president of the Criminologist Society of Jammu and Kashmir. He is also working, and he has extensively worked in crime reduction programs for more than last 30 years. And he has also propounded a very unique theory, a crime theory called yogic crime theory, which talks about mental health and how we can cope with tension, anxiety, for which he has copyright issues issued by the government of India. He is also author of three books. One is Controlling the Mind of a Criminal, the Yogic Way. The second is The Sixth Force in Cosmos. And the third one is The Misgoverned Kashmir, the Indian Way. So hopefully we'll have opportunity and occasion of discussing all of these books also with Sir. But coming back to today's topic, Sir will today be speaking about maintaining sane mental health for professionals, the Indian way. So this comes in light with a wonderful concept which was very recently stated by the Honorable Chief Justice of India, who mentioned that young professionals, as well as all professionals, legal professionals more so to say, required to first of all stop glamorizing mental health related issues such as working overtime and all the anxiety related issues which come along with the profession. And at the same time, since Sir has been championing this thought for a very long period of time, so we are absolutely privileged to have Rameshwar Jamwal sir with us today and to be shedding light on this wonderful topic. Sir, I thank you once again on behalf of all of our participants as well as on behalf of all team members also. And also, sir, I thank you so much for taking your time out. And today, this is a very unique aspect of our classes, which usually were confined to Sundays that we are taking today on a weekday also. So I thank you so much, sir, for championing the thought of legal education and for helping all of us, students of law, learn and grow. So I humbly welcome you, sir, and I request you to kindly take over the class.
Keshavji, thank you. And my special thanks to the entire team of Vestralex that they have taken this initiative after the call made by the Honorable Chief Justice of India. And because of these classes, I think we can focus on the issue which concerns us. It concerns a lot of Indians because as per the WHO, World Health Organization, 1 out of every 5 individuals in all the countries of the world is suffering because of the mental health issues. And given the size of India, where more than 140 crore people are residing, I think more than 30 crore people would be suffering because of this problem. And tackle this huge problem, it's not possible for the psychologists or the others, clinical psychologists or the doctors working in the field to treat such a big populace. But if we take some remedial measures as provided in our philosophies like Sankhya and Yoga, perhaps we can change the entire outlook of the communities. We can treat the entire communities which have some problems like which you see so far as Kashmir is concerned, or maybe some Naxal affected areas are concerned, or maybe some other parts of the country where large number of persons are taking to arms and mobilizing people against the country. So all these persons may not be affected because of this mental health issues, but certainly there are certain gaps in their thinking process, and that thinking process can be changed only if we take help of the Indian philosophies of Sankhya and Yoga. That's why I have uh, said that this meeting should concern not only take up the health issue of mental health, but also take up it from Indian perspective, so that we are in a position to tackle it in a better way. You see that mental health is a issue, uh, unlike corona or other mm, uh, physical ailments, where you give some tablets or you inject some injection and the results are there. Mental health issue has to be tackled on a long-term basis. You need at least 1 month or maybe 2 months or maybe a year to treat a patient of suffering from mental health. And for doing that, you require a lot of patience and a lot of expertise. And that's why this topic becomes so important, especially for the professionals, because after Corona, professionals are suffering from multiple problems. Their incomes have come down for almost 2 years. They did not have any work. So because of that fall in the income, they were facing problems in their houses, family problems because of this factor, and then physical problems also arose because they did not have any opportunity of going out or doing exercise, and you see that now a lot of youngsters are also dying because of those extra exercises which they are doing. You must have seen whether it has got some connection with the that corona treatment or something like that. Uh, that is for the medical experts to see. But so far as we are concerned with the mental health of the uh, professionals. And for professionals, the professionals are also equally affected. The same ratio would be applicable to the professional as well. So we need to discuss it and we need to take it seriously. We really want to counter it and we want to tackle it. Then we have to take a certain innovative measures, as we discussed in this presentation. And for that matter, I would be taking the participants to a PPT presentation, wherein we will try to understand as to what is mental health and how it can be tackled by taking help of the Indian philosophy. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the topic is important one: maintaining sane mental health for professionals and Indian perspective. And as Mr. Sharma elaborated, said something about me, that I'm doing yoga for the last more than maybe 30 years. And I have taught hundreds of people as to how yoga can help in not only maintaining the mental health, but also changing the criminal behaviors. And it is only because of the lessons learned by me while doing this practice and while reading a lot of Indian literature that I came up with that concept of yogic crime theory as to how yogic practices can help in changing the criminal behaviors. And not only the criminal behaviors, but also maintaining the just behavior of the normal persons, because there is every possibility that even normal persons can go berserk or can indulge in some inappropriate behavior for which they can land in trouble. So for maintaining a proper mental health, you need to go through all those practices, and you need to go very deep. The reason why we need to go very deep is that we are trying to understand the functioning of the human brain or the human mind, because mental health concerns the brain. And the brain is an organ of the body which is the most complex organ in the known entire universe at present. Whatever we know about the universe or the creatures having life, this is the most complex organ. Even the best of the minds in the world have not been able to understand the functioning of the human brain as to how it functions, why it takes a certain negative decisions, why it takes certain positive decisions, So we will have to go to that much deeper areas to understand as to what is mental health, because unless and until we know the functioning of an organ, we will not be in a position to rectify the defects in that organ. So to know as to how the brain functions and how our behavior is acquired, how we maintain a particular kind of behavior throughout our lives, and maybe that during the lifetime behavior also changes from negativity to what positivity, or from positivity to negativity, and how that behavior can be modified. These are the things to be need to be gone into. And for that matter, yes, next slide. Yeah, mental health. You see that mental concerns the mind. It also concerns the brain, but mostly it concerns the mind. Now, what is mind? Perhaps that is not known to the Western world or to the scientists. How the mind is formed. Pardon. Okay. Anyway, how the mind is formed, where it is situated in the brain, of which particular material it is composed of, what are its parts, how those parts function, what is our memory, how the memory is stored in the brain, how it is exhibited, and how it is elaborated. All these things are required to be understood. And for that matter, the yogic crime theory, which I propounded, for changing the mental behaviors, I came up with a concept. I called it APD, MBEP. Now, APD is attitudinal and personality development, and MBP is mass behavior engineering program. This concept was used at mass level in bigger groups, not in individual treatment, but in bigger groups. And by using this concept, we succeeded in changing the behavior of the entire groups. I'll come to that. But firstly, let us understand as to what are the issues which concern mental health. You see that because of the mental health problems, depression is caused. There are anxiety and phobias. There are eating disorders. There is stress, and a severe form of mental health leads to severe mental problems like schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, clinical depression, suicidal tendencies, then personality disorders. And these serious forms of mental disorder can lead someone to commit very, very serious things in life. You see that the number of persons who are committing suicide that has increased manifold. Then there are many other tendencies which are causing trouble in the society, in the country. All those are because of the mental problems, one form of the mental problem or the other. But the people are not ready to admit that they have some mental problem. Even in our profession, I've seen that the place where I'm practicing in Jammu wing of JMK High Court. There were a couple of incidents wherein the advocates committed suicide because of this mental problem. A couple of them had to be admitted to the psychological hospitals for treatment, and a lot of others are also suffering. It's a question of degrees only. Some people understand that they are suffering, some people don't take it that much seriously, but it can lead to serious problems in the later stages of the life. So we needed to take it to that level so that people understand the gravity of the problem and then take precautionary measures. And for that, mental well-being programs were designed, and we have to understand as to what is the relevance in the present context where, as I said earlier, that the income of the professionals has come down, physical issues, then their family and social issues. And by using this concept of yogic crime theory and the mental health problems, we can design programs for the entire communities, for the professionals, and for this concept can be beneficial for the entire human race. So this program was used by one organization which borrowed it from me. It has taken the permission from me. It's called Sankhya International. Sankhya International used this concept in a prison setting in Jammu. In Jammu prison, one of the prime prisons where a lot of serious offenders are there. There are terrorists, there are murderers, there are drug addicts, drug peddlers, then there are so many other criminals. This concept was used on them for 35 days. I also went there for giving lectures on a couple of occasions because a lot of persons are involved in that, psychologists, then behavior strategists, then human developmentalists, then nutritionists. All these fields are combined together in this one concept. And by using this concept, they succeeded in changing the criminal behaviors. You can see that these figures depict after 35 days, there was a 97.30% change in the mental health of the participants. 97, more than 97% in 35 days. And 100% gained in physical health. Some even stopped taking the medicines which they were taking for mental health. So you can see that this program has been a big success. And we will come to the yogic crime theory as to what is yogic crime theory, how behaviors can be changed by this concept, and how at mass level this concept can be applied. And just by sitting in this posture will not change it. There are certain other steps which are required to be taken. Meditation will help certainly, but there are certain other aspects like food and like our society in which we are living, like the persons we are confabulating with, we are interacting with, the literature we are reading. So all these things will come. Uh, but as I said, that we have to dive very, very deep to understand as to how human behavior is generated. For that matter, we will have to go to life generation aspect of the universe as to how the life is generated, how the universe came into existence, how the inanimate objects like the galaxies, like the um, uh, stars and planets, though we are not going into the entire aspect as to how the galaxy came into existence, because there is a lot of difference amongst the scientists itself, scientific community itself, and the model which the scientists have propounded till date, that Big Bang theory, that itself is being criticized by many scientists now. That can't be the model of coming into existence of the universe. But we are not going into that. We have to understand that this universe is very, very big. There are certain galaxies which perhaps beyond the imagination of the human race at present. The light and the signals of those galaxies, some of those galaxies are reaching to us after 13.5 billion years when the universe came into existence. So those galaxies or the stars in those galaxies may not be affecting our behavior. But our immediate neighbors, the sun, the planets, etc., these are the macro level extensions of the universe. They do affect us. They do affect our behavior. And as I said, that these are the macro extensions of the universe, the stars and the planets, and then these mountains, rivers, etc. You see that how these are problematic for us. Let us suppose that there is extra snowfall in a hilly area. Then because of that extra snowfall, the people would be confined to their houses. They would not be in a position to come out. They would not be in a position to work in the fields, in the streets, and that would affect their incomes. That would affect their daily lives. And because of those factors, there can be problems in the thinking process of the man. He can have mental problems. In the same fashion, people living in the coastal areas, suppose a cyclone comes in, and because of the cyclone, there is a large number of people who are uprooted from their homes, their houses get vanished in the cyclones. So that can also be the reasons of mental health. In the same fashion, there can be number of other factors, the lightning, the earthquakes, so many other. But these are the inanimate objects. Then there are at the micro level, the viruses, the bacteria, they are also affecting us. You see that this tiny microbe, the bacteria, virus, corona affected the entire world. So many deaths, so many families got wiped out in this entire process. But these are the inanimate extensions of the universe, and the scientific community is not in a position whether this format or the model which they have given for the start of the journey, human journey, or the start of the universe, whether that was in a position to generate life or not. Whether these mountains, these rivers, these planets, they are capable of generating life or not. For that matter, they don't have any answer. But our philosophy says that yes, as has been explained in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about these inanimate objects and says that this is just a minuscule extension of my energy. It's called apara energy, which I have tried to explain in the second book, which we would be discussing in the second part of this lecture. And the para energy is the energy which generates life. Not only generates life, but it also helps in maintaining that life system throughout this universe, or maybe throughout this world. There are millions and millions of species which have life. Now, how that life is generated, how that life circle comes to an end, and where that energy goes after the death of that creature, how that energy gets transferred to different other forms. That is called the para energy, and that is, we need to understand that. Some people take it that all these animate objects, the living creatures, they have souls. Some people say that they don't have the souls. It is just an energy. But where that energy, you see that billions and trillions of creatures are dying every second. Where that energy is dissipating in the nature. After all, that energy goes somewhere, and where that energy, how that energy transfer is being maintained by the nature. Whether nature is capable of transferring that energy, how the nature is maintaining that balance. For that matter, the scientists have till today, they have been successful in identifying just 4 forces of nature. First is gravity, the second is electromagnetism, the third is the weak nuclear force, and the strong nuclear force is the fourth one. But these fundamental forces are not capable of generating life. So what is that force which is generating life and which is transferring life from one creature to another creature? And how that life force is in a position to generate human behavior or the behavior of the individual characters, these individual creatures of life. You see that for understanding as to how the behavior is acquired by the creatures which have life, you need to understand that there are two ways as to how the behavior is transferred from the parents to the kids, to the younger ones. One is the genetic transfer of the behavior. You see the example of the anaconda. I'm giving this specific example because the anaconda mother, once it gives birth to the small kids or small anaconda, they immediately separate from the mother. They don't have any time to understand, to learn anything from the mother. But that predatory nature of the anacondas is there. They have to survive on their own. They have to kill the creatures, other creatures to eat, to survive in an environment. They have to live in the environment which is totally hostile to them. They have to counter bigger predators. So all these tactics or these natural things, this comes to them from their mother through the genetic mode of transfer. And these are the creatures. There are certain creatures which can survive in the absence of any patronage or any type of benefit of the parents. But then there are certain other creatures like human beings or cats, dogs, etc., which need the protection and the patronage of their parents. They need to learn certain behaviors from their parents to survive, because in the absence of the parents, they cannot survive even for a single day. So the parents are required. And then the socialization process, this genetic mode of transfer of the behavior is also there. Certain behaviors are learned by genetic transfer of the behavior, but certain other behaviors are learned by socialization in the family, by socialization in the society, and from society they learn a lot of things. And then this behavior, particular behavior is maintained by certain creatures throughout their life cycles. You see that the behavior of the lions or the dogs, it is being maintained for millions of years. The lions, despite the depletion of the jungles, they have not learned the art of eating pizzas or the burgers. Still, they will eat the same things which they were eating about a million years ago. In the same fashion, if a dog has migrated from Europe, you can take the example of a Alsatian dog or some other forms of the varieties of the Labrador or something like that. They may have come to India thousands of years ago, but the same type of qualities are being displayed by those particular varieties still today. The same dogs would urinate on the tires of the vehicles or sharpen their claws by rubbing it on the ground in the same fashion in which they were doing it about a million years ago. So they are maintaining their behavior. But so far as the behavior of the humans is concerned, it has undergone a massive change. Massive change. You see how we were displaying a particular kind of behavior about a million years ago, and what kind of behavior we are doing, displaying at present. So for that matter, we needed to go into the reasons of the human nature or human behavior, and only then we can come to a conclusion as to how that behavior can be modified. You see that a human being is born by the combination of two cells, one contributed by the mother called egg, the other contributed by the father called the sperm. And these two cells then multiply millions of times, and billions of other cells are generated. But the main source, the two cells, which contain a lot of information about our height, our skin, the color of our skin, the color of our eyes, so many other factors. They are taken from our parents, biological parents. But so far as the other aspects of the behavior are concerned, we take it from the society. So there is another, I call it evolution conundrum, because I have written on it. We take the example of Charles Darwin's theory, which says that we have evolved from the monkeys and the chimpanzees. Then there can be a little bit of a problematic problem, you can say, in understanding as to why the monkeys and the chimpanzees, which are still surviving till today, they have not been able to develop into human beings. Why they are still jumping on the trees, and still doing the same things which they were doing 1,000 years ago. You tell a monkey that his kids are suffering in this severe cold conditions, severe uh, problems would be there for his kids. You make a tin shed for them, but it will not be in a position to do that. Why? If we have evolved from the monkeys and we have been able to raise bungalows and so many other things for our protection, for our survival, then why monkeys and chimpanzees have not been able to do that? We need to understand. And whether this difference is just a difference in intelligence level, or there is something more. No, there are two ways of thinking about this thing, or taking it that way. The first is the science says that there can be a difference of just degrees. There is a difference of degrees only, and some say that there is a difference of kind also. Our philosophy also says that we the human beings are a different species, but so far as the animals are concerned, they are different species. You see, the genome of a chimpanzee and the genome of a human being are different by just 2%. And this 2% difference is such a huge difference. You can see the mental level of the person on the right side, Einstein's mind. We have been able to develop rockets, the computers, the televisions. We are in a position to go to the moon. We are planning to go to the Mars and to the other far ends of this galaxy, trying to find out. And the monkeys and the chimpanzees are still doing the same things which they were doing about 1,000 years ago. Why they have not been able to, and whether this could be possible just by the difference of 2%. And as I thought that this for this we needed to understand as to how this fertilization and development of brain takes place, because it all evolves from just 2 cells. This human brain, which has given so many things, so many important things to this universe, it has developed just from 2 cells. So this complexity of the brain has to be understood to understand the human behavior. And then this this evolution of the entire human body, biological body, then the mental factors we need to understand, and how these inheritance factors help us in understanding the behavior of the human beings. We'll come to that. Biological brain, then mental factors. We need to understand all these things. You see, the problem would arise if we take that we have inherited our brain and our intelligence from our parents. Then there can be lot of problems. For a single child, it may not be that much difficult to understand if we take it that we have inherited our intelligence level from our parents. But there would be a little bit of problem in taking it, that if we are taking the intelligence of our parents, then our intelligence should be double than that of our parents, because we are taking the intelligence from not only from the father but from the mother as well. So two types of intelligence are combining together to give a different kind of intelligence to the new one. So every child should be more intelligent than his parents, but that is not the case. Do we know the names of the kids of Charles Darwin or Albert Einstein, or so many other intelligent figures which this universe has produced? Their kids should have been more intelligent than their parents, but they are not. Nobody knows about them. And then if we take that two kids are born at the same time, or maybe quadruplets or quintuplets, they are born, then how this intelligence level would be distributed? So that means there is a problem in understanding as to how this intelligence is coming to us. And if nature is contributing to the intelligence factor, then on what basis nature decides as to one person should have more intelligence than the other one? Why a lot of more people are more intelligent than me? Why where I should complain? Rather, the nature has got some parameter to decide as to how this intelligence level is to be distributed. So all these are the things which cannot be explained from the scientific point of view. But for that matter, there is a lot of literature which is available in our plus point of view. And because of this problem, the human behavior, there can be a lot of problems. As you see that there can be problems for the individuals, for the society, for the families, and we need to tackle all these problems in a better position, in a better way. Then this debate of nature versus nurture, this is continuing for so many hundreds of years. Whether nature is contributing to our this evolution, or nurture is something which is giving our behavior, which we are displaying at a particular point of time. So this nature versus nurture debate continues, and it will continue because the scientific community and the Western community may not be in a position to understand as to how much is the contribution of Indian philosophy in this field. And as we said that what is nature, these earth, planets, air, water, galaxies, universe, they are not capable of generating life, or capable of giving the behavior to the individual. For that matter, these atoms or subatomic particles, electrons, photons, neutrons, hydrons, or nucleons, and the theories, relativity theory or the quantum theory, they are unable to explain as to how the life is generated and how the human behavior is generated and how the human behavior can be modified. So for that matter, we need to understand that nurture is something, and that's why our philosophy says that we need to give good thoughts to the kids, to the children at the very start of their journey, so that we can shape their nature, and that is called the nurturing aspect. And for that matter, our philosophy plays a lot of importance on that aspect. And I talked about this difference in kind or degree. I will not go into this thing now. So you see that why these figures are still idolized and still worshipped at this point of time, because of the qualities, because of the qualities of their nature, because of the qualities of their behavior, they were worshipped. And why those qualities, why those behaviors are missing in the present generation, and why there is decline everywhere. When those behaviors got eliminated from the, you see that genetics says that our parents and grandparents and the grandparents of the grandparents, they all are connected together. We all have come into existence. It's not that there was any gap or any breakage of the chain in between. So if I claim that I have come from the lineage of Lord Rama, why there is not even a single quality in me which I could claim that I belong to the Lord Rama's lineage? In the same fashion, the other religions also, there is a huge decline in the values, in the behavior of the persons. So we and whether this kind of behavior can be regenerated in the human race or not, and whether there is something which we can certain biological steps which we can take to generate that kind of behavior or not. So biological steps may not be that much effective, because the medicines and the injections, they are not going to give us a particular kind of behavior. For that matter, nurturing is important, and for that matter, uh, uh, we need to understand that at the level when the child is taking shape in the womb of the mother, the uh, uh, kind of environment in which the mother is living at that point of time, that also contributes. That is called the science of epigenetics. Now, epigenetics says that the genetic factors do play a major role in the behavior of the individual. If the mother is living in a very you say that tiring, not a physical tiring, but a mental depressing state, then uh, that environment in the womb, which we called as uh, the fetal environment. The fetal environment would give rise to the problems in the child to be born. He would be born with certain biological defects in the brain, and when the brain is not that much physically sound, it will be problematic for the child to survive and to display a particular kind of behavior in the later stages of his life. This all has been evidenced. So biological factors do play a major role. That fetal environment plays an important role. So we need to create conditions where the mothers live in a very better condition in those points of time when the child is being, and then after the birth also, we have to give a we have to give an environment in which there is a proper development of the brain, because the brain is developing in the small kids till a particular age. So not only that, the psychological factors also play an important role. The social factors, the economic factors, the economic factors. We may not be in a position to change the economy of a person, because that is the job of the government. Um, as a society, we may not be in a position, or an individual we may not be. But so far as the social and the psychological factors are concerned, we can play an important role. And this negative mind factor, we can counter that. We can check that, and for that matter, how the negative behaviors can be eliminated even at the uh, later stages of life. That is the question which concerned and which concern me and which concerns a lot of other important people as to how the negative things can be eliminated from the human brain. For that matter, we need to understand that how the human brain uh, takes which we call as sanskars. What are those sanskars? How they get embedded in the human brain? And you see that this figure depicts that there are lots and lots of programs which are being stored in different parts of the brain. The hearing uh, uh, part of the brain where the hearing goes, that contains a lot of information about the hearing aspects of the human being. Then there is a memory for music, then there is a memory for speech or reading, memory for sight, etc. So all these factors needed to be understood. But where these huge files are being stored, whether they are being stored in those particular parts of the brain or in the subparts of those particular parts of the brain. You see that a human brain consists of billions of cells. It's not that we can take it as one single piece of just like our heart, our liver, etc. It contains more than 100 billion cells, and those 100 billion cells are connected to each other with as many as 1,000 trillion connections. So we see something, we store it in our brain, and then when we have to elaborate our behavior at a particular point, so let us suppose that we have seen a lion, and we have heard from our parents that the lion kills the human being. So once we see the lion, then immediately our brain gives the instruction to us that you immediately run away from this place. Otherwise, the lion is going to hurt you. So that behavior is displayed by the human brain only when the brain had heard about the lion. If the child has not heard anything about the lion, he will not hesitate to go to the lion. So these are the things which have come to him from his parents, and these are stored in his brain. And those expressions of the brain come helpful to him in the later stages of life in survival game. In the same fashion, there are other millions of other files which are stored in our brains. But where those files are stored, whether they are stored in one single cell, whether they are stored in multiple cells. And let me give another example. My marriage took place about 28 years ago. But if I want to remember each and every event of my marriage, I would be immediately connecting to those scenes. That entire picture would start getting displayed somewhere. Where that picture is being displayed, that is another question. Is it in the brain? Which particular eyes are seeing that? Because our eyes are seeing something which is external things. But where that picture is being displayed and which particular eyes are seeing that is one thing. Second is how that huge file is being displayed immediately. Because if a number of cells have to connect together to display that, then there would be a lot of activity in the cells, and then this file of the size of the file would also be detrimental to display such a huge file. And they are in the same fashion. There are millions of other files, negative files, positive files, and we are in a position to delete those negative files. Then, just like a computer, if you delete certain programs from a computer, then storage capacity of the computer is enhanced. In the same fashion, if we succeed in deleting those negative files from the human brain, then we will be in a position to generate huge space in that human brain. But and that space can be filled up with positive ideas, positive things, positive files. But whether that human brain is storing those files, or it is the human mind which is storing those files, these are the questions which science has not been able to. This puzzle science has been able to solve till today. Our philosophy says that there is a karmasya part in the human mind which stores all these sanskars, and these sanskars then shape up our behavior. If there are negative sanskars in us, then our personality would be negative. If there are positive sanskars in us, then our personality would be positive. Now, how to change the ratio of these negative and positive behavior? This this requires to be gone into. I have discussed all. I'm not going into the subparts of the neuron because there are a number of things which a neuron contains. But just a reference to it, that this central part of the neuron, the nucleus of the neuron, contains our genetic material. And in that genetic material, once the signal from the outer world reaches that from our 5 sense organs, then the genetic material which is stored in our genes has to take a particular decision, and it has to display that decision by formation of the proteins. Those proteins get formed, and then those neurotransmitters which are formed by that protein, those neurotransmitters then travel to the other motor parts of the body. They give a direction to the motor part, whether you want to fight or you want to run away from that situation, particular kind of situation. And there are thousands of ways as to how we can cope up with a particular kind of situation. So this entire functioning of the neuron needed to be understood for understanding the biological aspect of our behavior. And this genetics and epigenetics factors which we discussed earlier, they do play an important role. Now, how much information is contained in our genes and epigenetic factors, how they are affecting us? Because the science of epigenetics says that there are certain chemicals which bind to the genes, the control panel of the genes, and those molecules or some molecules then pass on to the future generations. And if negative molecules or the problematic molecules get attached to the genes, then the problematic behavior would be transferred to the kids to be born. And it's not a one generation change. This goes on. This problematic behavior goes on getting transferred from one generation to another generation, and future generations would be affected because of all these things. So epigenetics and genetics science needed to be understood for understanding the biological factors which are responsible for our behavior. But our entire behavior is not dependent upon all these external factors. There are a lot of things which are happening within the human being itself. I'm talking about the source of our ideas, our thoughts, our aberrations, just like our lust, anger, greed, passion, ego, which is giving rise to our problematic behavior. And for controlling all these problematic behaviors, we need to go to the source of these ideas, these thoughts, these aberrations, from where the lust comes in, from where the ideas get generated, how thoughts come to us, how we store those thoughts, where we are storing those thoughts, and how those thoughts and those ideas get displayed at subsequent points of time. These are the things which needed to be understood. And for that matter, we needed to understand the mind and the intelligence factor, as to how our philosophy says that once the soul and the nature combine together, they give rise to the Mahat or the Buddhi or the intelligence. And once the Buddhi is found, then comes the ego. And from ego comes our mind, our 5 subtle elements get generated, then 5 cognitive senses, 5 active instruments, then 5 gross elements. They are all combined together to give shape to the 24 elements which give rise to the human beings. So, this philosophical thought has not been understood by the Western world, but our sages, our philosophers, they understood this thing, and then they came up with the philosophies of yoga and Sankhya. The Adideva factor, I talked about the stars and planets and the extraterrestrial things, and then Adhyatam and the both factors, they do play, and those 24 elements, then 5 great elements, our false ego, intelligence, and the 3 modes of nature, 5 sense organs, 5 working senses, 5 objects of, and then the mind factor. They all combine together to give rise to a human being. And then this difference between the human brain and the mind factor. You see, we need to understand the difference between the brain and the mind. Brain, you can cut open, you can see the parts of the brain, you can see the subparts of the brain, where the occipital region is situated, where the frontal lobe is situated, where the other parts of the brain are situated. But so far as the mind is concerned, you cannot see the mind situated within the brain. And mind is something which can assume any shape. It can give you the positive things, it can give you the negative things. And once you control your mind, you are in a position to control your entire outlook. And mind is something which can take any shape, any time. It has the greatest speed in the world. It can within the fraction of a second, it can take you to different parts of the world. It can take you to the sun, to the moon, to the far end of this universe. So it is the mind. So we need to understand as to what is mind, and and how the mind and mental factors can be modified and can be changed. And then the mind contains different vrittis or sub varieties, and pramana, viparya, vikalpa, nidra, smriti, further classification, the klishta, which give problems to us, and the klishta type of behaviors. So these are the, because of the paucity of the time, I will not be in a position. But klishta is something which gives us trouble. And there are 5 sources of klishta, troublesome behavior. One is the vidya, our lack of knowledge of the things. Asmita, individuality. Raga, which raga is something attachment to the body and the body parts and to the family. Dvesa is something which we have towards the other human beings, or towards the other races, that ill behavior towards the other forms of life. Abhinivesa. So all these things are needed to be understood. Then the mental state, there are 5 mental states as well. One is the Shipta state, Vikshipta, Mudha, Ekagra, Niruddha state. These are all terms have been explained in my first book. Now, now we need to understand as to how the same human being having the same body parts are displaying different kinds of behavior at in particular stages of their life. On the left hand side, we see the photograph of Lord Buddha. He had so many qualities. And why everybody can't be Lord Buddha? Why the majority of us are just normal human beings, and there are so many others who are just menace to the society, displaying characteristics and behavior which can cause trouble to the other forms of the life, or to the other human beings. And all this has been explained in the Sankhya philosophy, which talks about the Satavguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna type of qualities are the behavior of the individual. Now, Satavguna is something which is very bright, lucid, and positive thing, which qualities displayed by most of our sages and our prophets, etc. Rajoguna is the quality of the common human being, the normal human beings, and Tamoguna is the quality of the negative human beings. And it is not that these qualities are present in a human being in the static ratio. They go on changing. They go on changing with the kind of food you are taking at a particular point of time. They change with the kind of person you are interacting with, the kind of literature you are reading at a particular point of time, and the kind of society in which you are living. If it is a Tamoguna type of society, then the majority of the people would also become Tamoguna type of personality. And if Rajoguna type of personality is available, you see the example of certain Western countries where there is absolutely zero zero negative factors, where people are not indulging in any criminal activities. There are certain, and there are countries where there is a lot of problem of this crime problem. Why this Tamoguna type of personalities are there in a particular country at one point of time? These are the factors which needed to be understood by majority of us, and we can change the ratio of these Tamoguna and Rajoguna by introducing certain factors, by changing the ratio of these things, these Satavguna and Tamoguna type of things which are existing around us in our food, in our these Sankhya philosophy says that these qualities are present in even the minuscule parts of this entire universe. Even the atoms and the subatomic particles, they contain these qualities. So every part of our body is consisting of all these, and these are not eliminated at any point of time. They remain, but you can change the ratio of these things, and by taking the help of 8 limbs of yoga, you can change the ratio of these qualities. Most of us try to understand yoga only from 3 points of view, which we mostly see there in the TVs, that some yogis and some TV personalities are doing asanas, postures, difficult postures and small, not so difficult postures. Then pranayama, and sometimes they do tell us something about that meditation part. But meditation part would come only when you take the first 4 steps. And I try to use the 5th, 6th, and the 7th stage of these 8 limbs of yoga in changing the human behavior. One is the pratyahar, the other is dharana, and the 7th is the dhyan part. Pratyahar is the stage wherein you take your external organs, karmendriya, uh, gyanendriyas, sorry, to the internal side of yourself. You take them, you close down your eyes, and you are not seeing anything. Then you take your ears to a stage where you are not hearing anything. Your skin is not feeling. That is called the pratyahar stage. And then you are in a position to reach the 6th stage, which is called dharana, wherein you are in a position to control these 5 limbs. And once you reach that stage, only then the meditation part, dhyan part would come only when you are in a position to reach stage number 5 and stage number 6. Otherwise, meditation is simply impossible to do. But it's not that much impossible. It can be reached. No, 8th stage is very difficult to reach. That can be reached only by very accomplished sadhus and sannyasis, etc. But we must try to reach that stage. So these 5, 6, and 7th stages of 8 limbs of yoga were used by me in changing the behavior of the individuals, and to that extent, I succeeded to a great extent. Now, what are those particular asanas and which help you to calm down your mind, agitated mind, which help in controlling your mind? And I will not be in a position to discuss all those asanas, but certain asanas which are beneficial for the mind, I am discussing and I am displaying those. One is the Konasana, the other is the Prasarita Padottanasana. And these help in controlling your mind. Your agitated mind would become cool and controlled. Then this Gupta Padmasana, and then this Shashankasana, which helps in cooling. It has got a cooling effect on the brain, and it helps in controlling the anger part of your human body. And there are hundreds of postures which have been given in detail in this first book of mind, which is controlling the mind of a criminal, the yogic way. And by using these techniques, by using these particular asanas, we succeeded in changing the criminal behaviors, which was done in that setting of a Jammu prison. And this second book, the book on the right side, it talks about that Sankhya philosophy tells as to how the life is transmitted from one place to another. What are the controlling factors, and the para and the apara forces which control all these things. So, yogic crime theory came out of all these experiences which I gained by practicing this thing for a number of years together. And this yogic crime theory talks about the ratio of gunas, or that sanskaras which are present in our brain, how it fluctuates as per our food of the sense organs. Then how we can change the ratio of the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic qualities. How the sanskars get generated. How the evil thoughts or vitarkas get eliminated. And then the stage comes wherein even the normal thoughts would come to the forefront. Then how they are eliminated. Then that stage of ananda or asmita come in, wherein you feel the bliss or the joy. And then we discussed about karmasya, how as to what is it, how it stores. How, this is called the storehouse or the record room of the sanskars. How those sanskars are contained in the visual and the auditory format. How they occupy space, and this arousal of the memories, just like narco analysis, wherein the police agencies have been able to extract information from the criminals. It's just like that. The evil thoughts would come to the forefront, and they would get eliminated by by adopting certain practice and by eliminating those things, the neuron composition would also change. The Satavguna type of personalities would attain control over the Tamoguna type of this enfeebling process is uh, uh, is something which can't be explained here in this presentation, because it takes a lot of time to explain. But I'll tell you that once you sit in meditation posture for considerable time, then initially those vitarkas or the evil thoughts would come to the forefront. You will see evil things coming to your forefront. Sometimes they do trouble us, but do not get disturbed by those evil thoughts coming to the forefront. Gradually, with the passage of time, those would be eliminated. Then the normal thoughts would start coming to the forefront. And those thoughts would also get eliminated with the passage of time. And then that blissful stage would come in, and that is called Ananda and Asmita. And this this entire process of the elimination of the evil thoughts has not been explained or understood fully. Some say that some Indian philosophers say that they get burned. Some they say that they get eliminated. But how that happens, these are the things which I'm still trying to understand. But it certainly helps in eliminating all these evil thoughts which give trouble to the society, to the individual, to the family. And once these factors of lust, greed, anger, etc., get eliminated, then the personality would certainly change towards positivity. And that is the only way of changing the uh, human behavior. And this is just like the reformation of the human brain. And by reformatting the human brain, you are changing the not only the brain, the biological brain, but also the even the mind factor as well. You are creating space. You are removing obnoxious material from the brain, human brain, and you are filling it with sattva type of material, and which will help in changing the human behavior. And after the vitarka elimination, there is a lucidness, there is brightness, which is, and there would be total sattvic type of personality. And this will help. This can be attained only by using yogic practices at mass levels. And by using these yogic practices, you can also attain the SDGs, the goals set by the United Nations. They will help in retaining our balance in the environment, and they would be helpful in attaining a better future for our coming generation. And for that matter, the actions which are required to be taken by the governments, by the society, by the individuals is that we need to develop certain mass behavioral engineering programs, which fortunately I have been able to do. And these modules can be helpful in changing the behaviors of the groups and the societies. For that matter, I am not in a position to create the infrastructure. That required infrastructure can be created only by the governments. And for that matter, we need to tell to the government that we need to institutionalize this entire process through central government, through the states, through the institutions, then the communities, organizations just like Vestralex, and the individuals like Mr. Sharma, and so many other things, and so many other persons who have joined this program. If they all join together, we can certainly change uh, the entire outlook of the human beings. And for that matter, we need to involve the corporate sector, the educational sector, the educational institutions, the justice delivery organizations, our courts, and the judges and the advocates. They all need to be involved in this entire process. But that is beyond my capacity. I will not be in a position to do that. But Vestralex and so many important persons who have joined this, they can do it. And whatever little bit of help is required from myself, I would be in a position to do that. And we can take up the matter with the political leadership. We can tell them that they need to translate this entire Indian literature in English language and other languages, so that people understand. And then we need to tell to the people that human behavior is not something which is unchangeable. We can do it by blending the concepts from different fields. Uh, it was possible for me to come up with this yogic crime theory, and I do hope that it has helped in understanding the problem, the extent of the problem, and the how this problem can be tackled in a better way. And with that, I'm not sure whether I've been able to explain the entire concept in this brief interaction. But if anything more is required at my end, if somebody is interested in calling me, uh, I'll try to go there and try to explain all these things, because ultimately these are the things which are required to be done by the community, by the groups. If we want to change the outlook of the persons, if we want to have people who have got positive mental makeup, if we want that people should not have any negative feelings, negative mind, then we need to take the help of the Indian person. And this concept would be certainly helpful in understanding the human behavior from a different context, from a different angle. Mm. Now, if somebody is interested in asking any question, I'm here to answer. I'll try to answer with all my mm, uh, resources which are available to me, my thinking mechanism which has evolved till today. I'll try to explain, but there are certain things which are not there in my capacity to do. So we need to, as I said, that we need to join hands together to create a better society, to create a better country for for the future generations, so that they have a better future. And for that matter, I'm highly thankful to the team Vestralex, Mr. Keshav Sharma, and the other participants that they heard this thing. And with that, I close down my thank you. Now, yes.
Rameshwar sir, thank you so much. Very enlightening, very kind of you to take us through.
How to stop? Yes, stop share.
So very grateful to you, sir. Very grateful to you for such enlightening words and thoughts. So once again, I welcome everyone who has joined the class today. And VGK sir, sir, welcome. It's so nice to sir, see you and to have you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, please go ahead. I am assuming you have some question to ask.
No, it's a difficult subject because Mr. Rameshwar has spoken quite on various, what do you call it? It's a very difficult subject where we also need to have more deliberation on this. Thank you very much, Mr. Rameshwar. And
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yes. All the best. Do it again once in the near future.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in a resort. So
you taking care of your mental health, sir.
internet. Yeah, it's very cold here. Well, all the best to you. Thank you, Rameshwar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Very kind of you, sir. So
bye-bye.
And sir, VGK sir, just before you leave, sir, we have a class pending wherein you and Rameshwar sir both will be discussing on the topic of again 370 in Kashmir and the sixth schedule for the constitution for the Northeast. So we're all anxiously looking forward to that class also.
Let's see in the near future. Say sometime in the month of February.
Absolutely, sir. So we'll just.
Yeah, we are having elections.
So
okay, I will try to communicate with you how to go about. Actually,
Absolutely.
I've come fishing. Can you see?
So you've taken care of your mental health, that we can see, sir. And our mental health is getting better looking at you.
Yeah. Actually, I have come here for fishing purpose. We managed to catch a big fish. And Rameshwar ka lecture सुन के भी अच्छा लगा है. All the best.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you. So much. Very kind of you, sir.
Bye-bye.
So,
bye-bye.
So Rameshwar sir, again, there are a few questions for you also, sir. So again, I'll first of all, obviously, as always, I'll ask everyone if there is any question which anyone wants to ask right now, then they can have the first say. I will ask later. All right. So I'll come to my questions. So there is one question wherein, sir, first of all, thank you so much. You have so eloquently explained and established both parts of the brain, first the physical as well as the intellectual bit of it. So, sir, where does all the stress usually come to people from? Is it the physical part of the brain which creates the stress, or is it the intellectual part of the brain?
You see, the both physical part does play an important role, because all those our five sense organs which are bringing information of the physical world to us, they can create trouble for us. If we see a harming scene with our eyes, somebody is getting killed, or somebody is being raped, or being bitten by somebody, stabbed by somebody, or being killed by somebody, then that is the physical factor which will give rise to a lot of physical problem in our brain. In the same fashion, if we are hearing certain bad words from somebody, that is the hearing aspect of the brain, that will also create trouble for us. In the same fashion, if our other physical organs, those five sense organs, they bring a lot of information to us, and the brain does play an important role. Certain chemicals get generated in the brain, we get agitated, we get angry, and these are the physical factors which. And then I talked about the internal factors, our ideas. Suppose I get an idea that I have to rob someone. That is a negative idea which is being generated by within the human being itself. Now I have to rob someone after 6 months. I'm storing that idea within me. That idea has to take place after 6 months. But that idea is there stored in our mind. So mind is also playing an important role, and then those sanskars which we have taken from our this birth, if we are not uh, taking it that our previous births are also important so far as the consideration of the sanskar part is concerned. Let us assume that we are considering only this life only. In this life only, we have lots and lots of negative files within our self, which we call as sanskars. So those negative sanskars do play an important role in the generation of the negative thoughts. And once those negative thoughts get generated, then certainly our behavior would be problematic. So those physical factors, the external factors, as well as the internal factors do play an important role. Your sound is not coming. Your voice is.
So I'm sorry,
Okay.
I so, sir, another question which is there for ponderance. First of all, thank you so much, sir, for detailing that. But sir, I was just taking a note while listening to that answer also and throughout the class
Hmm.
that there has to be various other sessions with respect to this only on which through which we can discuss and explore the concept of mental health even more. But sir,
For that matter, can I suggest something?
absolutely, sir.
Uh, I think you should try to involve other people from Delhi in holding a big program, physical program in Delhi. You try to invite the Chief Justice of India has taken an initiative in this thing. You try to invite the Supreme Court judges or the High Court judges from Delhi in that program. And if they are not ready to come in, then in one program, in one of our programs, Justice uh, National that Justice, I'm not remembering his name. He was a sitting Supreme Court judge at that point of time. He had come to Justice, well, I think. Yes, he is holding that National Green Tribunal post at present. He is there. He can be invited. He is very interested in such programs. Or you can invite any political leader or those who are interested in such things that Indian philosophy should be discussed and should be taken to the grassroots. You can involve them. And once we involve large number of people and people hear all these things, I'm sure that a lot of people would get involved in this thing and they would join you this movement.
Yes, sir, absolutely. We are there, absolutely in support of this very wonderful bit of research that you have done. I think Dr. Sai Kumar sir wants to ask something. Sai sir, hi and welcome.
Sir,
So, in the meanwhile, sir, I'll only ask just one other question. So, there's a very important question for all young advocates, considering that at the end of the day, we're all advocates over here or law students. So, in that respect, sir, how exactly, since and considering all the hard, all the pressure of the profession, how exactly for advocates, young advocates, to relatively let some steam off and not be stressed. So I was very happy to see VJK sir how he was fishing. So what are the kind of things that young advocates and law students should keep in mind?
Uh, those things which Mr. VJK is doing at present, that they do help us in relieving our stress. But I'll suggest everybody that at least for 1 hour, they should keep 1 hour every morning for themselves. And during that 1 hour, they should try to do yoga and meditation. That will help to a large extent in countering all these negative forces. They'll see change in their behaviors and in their outlook. And once they start doing it, then it has to be continued for months and years together. It's not that you break it in between and then you will not find anything. But you take it that if you are doing it regularly for years together, then certainly there would be a lot of changes in your thinking.
So also very similar to this, something I had heard, which was that every person in this world should do meditation, and at least for 1 hour, at least for 10 minutes every day.
Yes.
And the people who cannot take out 10 minutes in a day should do it for 1 hour. So
I'll just add on that you see that for every instrument in your house, your water pumps, your coolers, your ACs, you are doing services every year. But for human body, which is the most complex organ in the entire universe, you are not doing anything. It is the most complex organs, and if you are not doing anything for keeping it fit, how can you be fit?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So everyone has to ensure that they give time to themselves. So, sir, also another question which comes in this respect, you mentioned a lot of very interesting things such as sanskar and so many various very interesting and unique and novel words and thoughts were brought to our light today. So, sir, who can we look at for guidance in this respect? Can we look at you? Can we keep asking you for everyone who's there? Or so you mentioned that they can reach out to you, but I don't know how many will. And so how exactly do we figure out that what is the manner of going ahead?
Uh, I think physically I may not be in a position to go everywhere because that may be impossible for me to, because a lot of people are joining you from different corners of the country. But if they read my books and if they join me on social platforms, I'm available on Facebook, I'm available on this LinkedIn and Twitter and so many other platforms. And if they need any help from me, any guidance from me in one form or the other, I would be available to them. But they must try to join the yoga classes. Some trained yoga practitioner must try to, because TV is not the proper medium for learning the yogic practice. It can give a lot of problems to you. I have learned it from my own experiences that I will not name that particular yogi who tells as to how to do that Brahmari pranayam or the other forms of pranayam. But Kapalbhati, etc., he says that you do it for 500 times. And if you do it for 500 times, it will certainly lead to this high blood pressure. That happened with me. So TV is not the proper medium. For that matter, you have to go to a practitioner who has control over the things and who knows the teaching art. And for that matter, once you learn all these techniques, then you will be in a position to do it yourself. That would be better way. And if I can be helpful in some form, I would be most willing to do that.
So we will be looking at towards you only for such guidance. And sir, I am also aware that you have um, some teaching experience also, and you have some place in Jammu wherein if people want, they can come there and they can learn also, and they can explore what are the various facets of yoga.
Yeah, I taught hundreds of people for almost 15 years. I used to take a number of classes. I used to go there in the morning, even at 4 or 5 in the morning, even in winters. And then there is a place in Katra, which Sankhya International had hired. wherein they have a facility for teaching large number of groups, big groups, because that is a costly type of accommodation. It is an accommodation of this uh, Shri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board, and if they can do, if groups are interested in coming to Jammu and having darshan of Mata Devi, Vaishno Devi, and doing it, but that can be possible only for a couple of days. But this thing requires at least 1 week to teach the small parts of this program. At least 35 days program is required for a large group to get their behaviors changed. And if such groups can be engaged or can be organized in some other part of the country, then I can ask Sankhya International to send their representatives and do the practice. But for that matter, the groups will have to pay something to them for their expert. They have got a lot of experts in this particular field. They would be willing to come.
We spend so much money on such I would say,
Yeah.
Nashwar sir in Hindi, if I put it, on such Nashwar things, that I think if we put something for our health, it will be good for us only.
You see that a family spends, if a child goes astray, if he takes the help of the drugs, then the entire family would be ruined. And for keeping him on the right track, if they are willing to spend 5,000-6,000 for that child for that 35 days practice, that is not a big amount for spending.
Absolutely, sir. Eventually, the costs they become much higher. If we do not take care of our health, then
Yes.
eventually it's going to be the cause why we will have to and want to earn money simply. So I understand only very little much in that respect only. So again, since we are running at the end of the class right now, so I once again welcome everyone who has recently only joined us, and I request that if you have any questions or if you have anything that you want to contribute, right now is a very good time for you to speak up.
Hi, good evening, Saloni this side. Sir, I just wanted to thank you for this beautiful and a very, very interesting conversation on mental health. And thank you, Keshav, for bringing Sir to us. Yeah, because learning about yogic crime theory from, I mean, I've attended one or two talks about criminal law, how reformative techniques have been adopted in the in certain jails here to give counseling to inmates, but or yoga as a separate concept, as how meditative techniques can be used to calm the mind. But Sir explained it in an absolutely what do you say, intricate level as to how the three stages of a human mind or the body behaves and acts. So, sir, I really liked the idea that you would like to take a physical lecture in Delhi. I think that should be our next aim
Yeah.
to somehow organize and invite, so that there are people who can, and especially since now the concept of a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists are being brought on board. So I don't have any questions per se because it's a very complicated
Thank you,
topic,
Saloni.
sir.
Very sweet of you, very kind of you to mention your regards for sir. And absolutely what has been mentioned, but I take away two things at least from this class, that for the future, that one is the class, your class, sir, with BGK, sir, and the other one, sir, is this physical class that has been mentioned. At the same time, sir, there is one. Okay, so there is one very important question, sir, which has come to light, which we did not know. We have a very esteemed participant, another very esteemed participant in our midst. Mrs. Bharat Lakshmi ma'am from Andhra Pradesh High Court, she is also with us. She has also joined us, and we have a question from her also. Ma'am, it will be really great if you can unmute and if you can ask this question. Or okay, so I will take the opportunity and ask. And ma'am, please, you can join whenever you think fit. So, so the question from Bharat Lakshmi ma'am is, that what exactly are the methods to develop memory capacities? If Rameshwar sir, if you can suggest something in this as well.
Yeah. You see that I talked about eliminating programs from your brain. Those programs, obnoxious programs, evil programs are there in the form of different kind of sanskars. And once you start doing meditation, more and more meditation will help in eliminating those bad thoughts. And once you remove those bad thoughts, bad files from your brain or your mind, then a space would be created. You take the example of an Almira. In one Almira, there are number of files are lying there. You remove certain files, the space is created for storing more files in that Almira. In the same fashion, in a computer, if the bad programs are there, obnoxious programs are there, virus infected programs are there, you eliminate those programs, then the space would be created in the same fashion. By doing these meditation practices and pranayama, especially the Brahmaric pranayama, that helps in enhancing your memory capacity. Of course, the physical brain would play an important role, but so far as the mind factor is concerned, that would also get enhanced. So both the physical brain as well as, because you see the physical brain is not something static. It's a very elastic, plastic type of organ. Every second there are number of connections which are being created and number of connections are getting disconnected. The whole functioning of the human brain is so complex, and this processing capacity of the neurons or the cells, that processing capacity, the number of connections which that neuron has got, it has got lot of connection with the memory part. And you see that experiments have been conducted and they have demonstrated that if you do yoga on regular basis, the capacity of your brain to understand many things would be enhanced to a considerable extent. So my suggestion would be that you do more and more yoga and meditation. Just 10 minutes of meditation is not going to help, but initially you start with 10 minutes. I'm doing it for around 1 hour meditation. So 1 hour of meditation has thrown many things, new chapters to my life. It has brought many such unthinkable things to light that I can't explain. I will not explain all these things in the program, because there are certain things which are required to be kept as a secret. So you do meditation and do yoga, and you will see change in the functioning of your human. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Keshav.
Thank you so much.
Keshav.
Sorry. Thank you so much. Sir.
Keshav.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bharat Ma'am. Yes, sir. Hi, sir.
See, the main object, Patanjali Yoga Sastra, sir. The only object of the yoga is Dharma. Actually, yoga helps, combines three things: body, mind, and soul.
Yeah.
This is the only mechanism available in entire world. Even that is why Westerners also. I'll be very short. I don't do it long. Chitta Vritti Nirodhaka.
Yes, yes.
Chitta Vritti Nirodhaka. Chitta means man, inner man, where it is always been active. And the sir rightly suggested pranayam. After pranayam, see, there is a series, and it should be done systematically. 8 is enough. 8 or 6 are enough, which I have been doing. That for memory increase, Brahmic pranayam is there. Brahmic.
Yeah.
Brahmic pranayam, both fingers, you close all your 5 senses. Okay? The eyes, the ears, the mouth, and voice. Yes. And in the external everything.
Yes.
And you send the breathe the oxygen up to the brain. This is Brahmaric pranayam, and it improves memory. और सुनिए, किसको करना नहीं फिर भी इम्प्रूव करना है तो रोज 4 बादाम खाए, उसमें से भी memory improve hota hai. As
Yeah.
sir said, of course, technically he is more experienced than me. That elimination, yes, if you delete, and last but not least, either you are in past or in future, you are always ignoring the present. So leave the past, shelve the future, and be in the present. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very, very enlightening. And as a matter of fact, sir, आपकी भी एक class इस पे बनती है. It is due, sir. You will have to show how this is done. Everything, shedding everything. And Rameshwar
Very
sir, I
simple.
think-
One is pranayam. Okay. Then pranayam. Then pranayam karate Kapal Bhati. Sir rightly said, 500 karo, aise karo, aise. See, it is written in Vedas. Ati sarvatra varjite. Ati sarvatra varjite means excess of anything is loss. It brings in negativity or loss, damage. It is certain. Ati sarvatra varjite. So yes, a class में सिखा सकता हूँ, very easy, and very easiest meditation is, easiest way of getting into meditation is vipassana. I have done it, and of course I had a fortune time to meet Satnarayan Goenkaji one-to-one. I want to ask some question. So the easiest way is that vipassana type of meditation. What? Concentrate on your nose, that's all. Only observe your breath. That's all. It takes, and you will realize that now your mind is like monkey, goes to 1,000 places and come back. But then slowly observing your only breath, inhaling, exhaling. Only one nostril works at one time. Of course, if you go into the Surya Nadi, Pingal Nadi, right is Surya, left is Pingala, there's a lot into it. It's all necessary. Only observe your breath, and you will see that only one nostril works at a time, either left or right. Breathing, inhaling, exhaling. Keep on observing that. Close your eyes, concentrate only on your nose, and slowly, if you develop that habit, you get into meditation very fast and very. Then transcendental meditation is there. Then that Bindu, that Om meditation is
So,
there.
sir, let's do one thing, Sai sir. Let us all go to Jammu and Rameshwar sir, please kindly, I request and I
It
hope
will be very, very nice. Yes.
Yes,
that
yes,
you can
it can be
take
done.
out
It
one
I
can be
week
think
done.
at least for Team
instead of
Vestralex.
video lecture, you give me only
Physical
10
lecture, sir,
minutes.
everyone together.
Yes,
Yes.
you organize the program. I'll help
This
in.
summer, sir, absolutely we will do this.
And Kesha and not saying Vaishnav, once we booked everything, helicopter tickets of 5 people, including Guruji, and वहां पर आग लग गई थी. तो वहां पर एसओ था, सुपरिटेंडेंट ऑफिस, सम ऑफिसर कनेक्शन हुआ था. वो वाला 10 दिन के बाद, 10 दिन के बाद में कोई आवाज नहीं उठा. एवरीथिंग गॉट कैंसल्ड. तो वैष्णो देवी भी रखो जिसमें. I don't know. I'll be
Done,
able
sir,
to work
done.
on.
1 week, sir, at least let's take out for all of this.
Yeah.
We'll
And
figure
I
out
have my junior who was with me from Jammu, Manish Dutt. उनका स्थान भी है, Manish Dutt. We can take his help also. Manish Dutt. He is advocate only.
Certainly. And I'll take you to certain areas which are so beautiful and so enchanting that you'll feel that you don't want to go back.
Sir, I have not visited Kashmir. Though I am a very frequent traveler.
Absolutely, I can vouch for that. Sai sir travels a lot.
So
But
we
About the
are
program will help.
Absolutely. Bharatlakshmi ma'am, please.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful time. Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
thanks
You
a
are a
lot, sir.
discovery for us.
Yes, exactly. We are very much blessed, sir, having such a team and gurus like you people, sir. And this credit goes to Bhairav Foundation, our Sharma, Keshav Sharma. And thank you very much, sir. We have a wonderful class.
और केशव जी सबको बोलना, participants should ask questions.
Yes.
Absolutely,
I
sir.
learned
I'll
Sanskrit
be-
in BCom. That Sanskrit का lecturer बोला, देखो be Sardar means outright, fearless and ask right questions.
Yes.
और हमारा गुरुजी बोलते था, देखो मान होने का सवाल पूछने का, अगर प्रश्न नहीं पूछेगा तो अगले जन्म में पूछ आएगा.
So I'll take it that the class is over now. And
Thank you.
I thank Rameshwar sir. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time out today and conducting this two-part class on this very unique and interesting topic. And obviously, it has opened up a lot of doors and a lot of more subject matter has been discussed for various, I don't know how many more material and things to be done. So I very humbly thank you so much for taking your time out. And I hope that we'll all be able to come to you for more and further
Certainly,
guidance in
certainly.
this
You are
respect.
welcome. You are welcome.
And I thank everyone who has chosen to participate today. And thank you so much. I hope, and I'm quite sure that you would have gotten a lot of material to think about, and hopefully to think in such a respect so as to calm your brain down rather than overworking it today. So in that respect, I thank everyone. I thank Jamwal sir, and I will end the class now. Thank you so much.